T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Tonight on Truth Today, the world and President Trump signs a peace deal while Iranians are being massacred. What type of a peace are we actually asking for or witnessing? Could it be a false peace? Also, Muslim nations and Muslim leaders once again side with the Islamic regime and its murderous practices. And also, the peace deal in Davos, could it be the beginning of the one world government, one world religion, and is Trump competing with a new government that will compete with the United Nations? That and much more right now on Truth Today. Well, good evening, folks. Thank you for joining us live in studio. This is Pastor Shahram Hadian, Truth in Love Ministry. So glad that you can be with us tonight. Thank you for taking the time out to join us tonight live in studio. We are waiting for some of our folks to jump on here. My apologies for the late start again. Just had a very, very minor technical issue that I deal with. So again, thank you for being here live, 8:13 Eastern time here in studio. Want to remind you that you can learn more about our ministry at tilministry.com, tilministry.com, our website. Check out our events calendar. All of our traveling schedule for the first half of the year will be on there very soon. Want to let you guys know in Bakersfield, California, I'll be there February 22nd, and also in Western Washington. All of you Washington folks in the Pacific Northwest, I'll be with you in Western Washington, February 25th to March 1st there for 5 events. So again, that will be on our calendar. Also, remember we are on rumble.com, rumble.com/Shahram Hadian, rumble.com/Shahram Hadian. Please do us a favor, 3 things. Click join. There's a button there that's a big red button that says join. Click on that. And if you like our content, please click like and share the content, help to get the word out. We also welcome all of you who are joining us on Facebook and on YouTube. Again, I'll be trying to monitor our chat tonight. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask your questions, and I will try to do my best at the end to have time to answer those questions. Let's see, just one more thing here. Also, a quick note. Next week, I'm going to be traveling. It's supposed to be our family vacation, but the weather is going to be very, very cold here through this southeast portion of the country. Possible rain. Of course, we're praying for all of you who are also in that situation with freezing weather, lots of snow. So please be in prayer for everybody in the southeastern, did I say southwest? Southeastern part of the United States. We're so glad that you guys can join us, but also praying for you that you'll be safe this coming weekend and next week as the weather gets colder. So I will be live streaming from where we're going to be for vacation, Lord willing. And of course, anything that's breaking, I will bring that to you. Also, I will be later tonight after my live show. I'll be recording with Jamie Glazoff of the Glazoff Gang, and we'll post when that's going to be airing as well. Of course, I'll be on with Brandon next week as well at some point. Brandon House, love you too. So again, thank you guys all again. Please let us know where you guys are commenting from. We always love to hear the comments. All right, let's jump into this tonight. We are talking about false peace being signed. I've been warning you guys about false peace. The Bible warns us about false peace, that there will be a time of false peace. Big news out of Davos for the World Economic Forum. The president was over there and signs the new charter for the Board of Peace. We're going to talk about that. Meanwhile, as they're declaring this peace that I believe is going to lead to false peace, the Bible's very clear that there will be a false peace before and the beginning of the tribulation, and that will then precede the coming of the Antichrist. And of course, all of that precedes the true peace, the true Prince of Peace coming, the Lord Jesus Christ coming after the 7-year tribulation. And I have again extensively warned about this false peace. The Bible warns about that we need to be aware when they declare peace and safety, and then sudden destruction comes. So we're going to talk about that, but I want to first of all bring you an update from Iran. It is very challenging to get word out of the country. I've tried to talk to some people in the past week. I've been, of course, tracking a lot of things out there about what news is coming out. I want to, again, give you the latest. The latest is that there is still a massive internet, cell phone, landline, and for the most part, satellite blackout in Iran. They have been dark now for 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago was when January the 8th, today is the 22nd. So actually January the 8th, right? Was it 2 weeks ago? Let me just look at my calendar here. Yes. January the 8th, 2 Thursdays ago was when the Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, went on social media and said, go into the streets, take over the streets. And that's when the regime went into blackout mode. When they went into blackout mode in Iran, we suspected that it was not good news, that it was going to be massive death, because now Satan works in darkness. Now, remember, for those of anybody joining us brand new here, I am a former Muslim. I was born in Iran. My family fled there before the overthrow of the government in 1979. My dad was in the army under the Shah as a high-ranking official under the Shah of Iran. And subsequently, we've tracked the patterns of this regime, the patterns of evil. And that was what sank my heart that Thursday night when I saw the blackout, because we knew that it was going to be massive death. We knew that they were going to now kill indiscriminately with disdain and evil in their hearts, no mercy against the Iranian people. We knew that they had imported these Arab Muslim militias from Iraq, from Lebanon, from Pakistan, from Afghanistan into Iran. And so as of today, there is still massive blackout. There are pockets of phone calls being made. I'm going to play an audio clip of one of those tonight for you. There are pockets of images that are being streamed out through Starlink as people move around. I mentioned this on the show on Tuesday that there are those who have Starlink, but the regime and their henchmen are tracking people by searching for satellite signals or internet signals and trying to pinpoint where people are broadcasting from. I mean, have you ever just taken your phone, and if you're like traveling around anywhere in an airport, anywhere public, and just when you click and look for Wi-Fi, right, it gives you all of the signals and the names of the signals that are within your range. It gives you the IP addresses. You can even find their location if you knew how to do that. So that's what the regime is using. So the satellite becomes not very helpful. Plus, I mentioned this also on Tuesday, they have Chinese technology. The Iranian regime has Chinese technology that is blocking the satellites. Now, we cannot in earnest verify an exact death toll. We cannot verify an exact number of arrested. We cannot verify a number of injured. And we cannot verify exactly the number who have been executed. I can tell you with confidence that though President Trump and our administration has said that they've been told that 806 executions were halted, that is not the case. Enough reports have come out that people are still being executed. I can tell you with certainty that people are going to the hospitals. And if they're not killed in the streets, then the regime and their henchmen are standing at the hospitals waiting to arrest people who come to the hospital wounded. They're then arrested, taken into custody, and most of them will die in custody or killed in custody. The regime will finish the job. We have many credible reports and images of patients who've been in the hospital with medical equipment on them who've been shot in the head, executed while they're in a hospital bed. These are coming from doctors. Here is the latest image. Now, I cannot verify this. It is safe to say, I believe it's safe to say that within, because I said this on Tuesday, the video, any videos that are coming, that are being uploaded, most videos, most figures, those are from starting January 8th, meaning they are from 2 weeks ago. We don't know exactly. We know that there is martial law. We know, and I'll play a video clip, the audio clip of someone who called in from Iran, that people are terrified of leaving their houses, even to go get groceries. That's even if they can afford groceries because of the horrific economic situation there. People, if you go on the balcony, they're being shot at. If you leave your house to go out, you could be shot at and or beaten up and arrested or beaten up. So the situation is horrific. And if you watch my show on Tuesday, I talked about the great betrayal. Has the world abandoned Iran? Has Trump abandoned Iran? Has the European Union abandoned Iran? Have Western nations abandoned Iran? And where are the Christians? Where are the pro-Palestinian Christians? Where are the pro-replacement theology Israel is an apartheid nation. Israel is a genocidal, homicidal nation. Christians who bashed Israel to no end. Where are they now? How come I have seen zero comments from so many pastors and churches? The silence is so revealing, so telling. And yet, the president today was at Davos. Following his speech, President Donald Trump signed the official founding documents of the Board of Peace. The leaders of Bahrain and Morocco, two Muslim countries, were the first to co-sign, followed by representatives from Argentina, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bulgaria, Hungary, Indonesia, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, Pakistan, Paraguay, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, Uzbekistan, and Mongolia. Most of these are Muslim nations. When I was on with Brandon House on Tuesday, 2 days ago, on his show, his night show, we extensively talked about the Board of Peace. I'm going to show you the charter of this Board of Peace. We believe that they are now competing with the United Nations, that Trump is going to lead a brand new global organization that is going to compete with the United Nations. Some 58 countries have already been invited in, and this new Board of Peace could very well be not only the foundation of the new global governance, but also the foundation of the one world religion. I'm sorry if some of you are having problems with the internet tonight. The signal looks good on our end. Maybe comment if anybody else has any issues, but I think we're good. I'm sorry, Bear Wallow, that if it's freezing on you. Meanwhile, even the Crown Prince, and I'll play an interview here for a second, because again, I want to focus on the update on Iran first, and then we're going to talk about this Board of Peace. I'm going to play a video clip of what Jared Kushner played at Davos for this Board of Peace, which I believe, even under Trump, is laying the foundation for false peace. All of this talk about peace, 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 I believe it is all false peace. We've talked about this at length, all the things that they're doing to push this global peace. Peace in the Middle East. When he signed the document with Qatar and Turkey and Egypt on Gaza, the 20-point peace plan in Egypt a few months ago. Remember, it had peace 2025 in big letters, and the president said, we have now brought peace that we've been longing for 3,000 years. Again, folks, if you're a believer, if you understand Bible prophecy, you understand that God's word has warned us about a false peace that comes. Now, Brandon and I were very clear the other day. We are not saying that Trump is the Antichrist, but we are saying that the foundation for the system is being laid. The foundation for the system is being laid. How can you declare peace and a Board of Peace when you have one of the greatest genocides within the shortest period of time? Many people are comparing the amount of Iranians murdered by their own government in just a few days. Because again, we don't know the death toll. I'm going to bring you a figure in just a minute, but we don't know the death toll. But just in a few days, people are comparing this to the Rwanda genocide. This is a genocide. When a government kills its own people in these numbers and this brutality, this is ethnic cleansing. This is a genocide. Not unlike what is happening to some extent in Syria under the new, quote, Jolani al-Shara interim government of Syria, who are now going after the Kurds, who are now releasing ISIS members back into their population. Look at these numbers. SOS for Iran, International Center for Human Rights. Since December 28, these are the numbers that they're reporting. We don't know if these are accurate, but this is the numbers. I said that before this is all said and done, if the people keep fighting for freedom, you can see 6-digit death tolls. They're reporting over 10,000 blinded, 43,000 killed, 350,000 injured. And we don't know the numbers of those who are arrested right now are also in the tens of thousands. Meanwhile, more false peace being promised, more false peace being signed, more of the setup for this global system, one world government, one world economy, one world religion. The Bible has warned it is going to happen, and it will happen. And in many cases, look, in one case, it looked like the other day that Trump and Lutnick, his Treasury, I think Secretary guy, I think his Treasury, were thumbing their nose at the World Economic Forum and the globalists, declaring globalism is dead. At the same time, how can you declare that and then come in here and again at Davos sign this Board of Peace, which we're going to look at again, the charter. By the way, nothing in the charter talks about what's going on in Gaza. Nothing in the charter talks about any other part of the world, but it talks about a governance led by Trump. Trump is going to be the lead of this Board of Peace. These nations must put $1 billion in to join this Board of Peace. There are so many. Here is Tusi. There are so many of these voice messages that are coming in from Iran with desperation. People are saying we have no chance. We are being massacred. It is so bad. Where is outside help? Where is the United States? Let me go to this message. It's a bit long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Here's a message that was received by the aunt of, where is it? Right here. Goldie Gamari posts a lot. She's very popular on social media. Apparently, this was her aunt or her mother's childhood friend. Listen to this message from inside Iran that was just recently received.
سلام دوستای گلم، سلام بچه ها. خیلی دلم براتون تنگ شده بود، خیلی وقت بود نتمون قطع شده بود. الان یه دفعه ساعت 12 همینجوری زدم، از طریق آلمان فیلتر شکرم روشن شد. پیاما همتون رو دیدم. قربون تک تکتون برم که خارج از ایران انقدر پشتیبانمون هستیم، مگر اینکه شما بتونین برامون کاری کنی. انقدر اینجا وضعیت خرابه، انقدر وحشتناکه، حتی میترسم که گوشیم شنود داشته باشه نتونم پیام بدم دیگه. دل زدم به دریا. بچه ها اینجا خیلی وضع خرابه، اینجا حکومت نظامیه، نمیتونیم اصلا بریم بیرون حتی شعار بدیم. از تو تراس هم که شعار میدیم بهمون تیر میزنن. بعد میخوایم بریم بیرون حتی خرید بکنیم تفتیش میکنن، همه جامونو میگردن، رخت و لباس دست میبالن، بعد کیفمون و گوشیمون رو وا میکنن، پیاما رو ببینن، ترسمون مجبوریم همه چی پاک کنیم. خلاصه اوضاع خیلی خرابه، مردم نمیتونن برن. یعنی وقتی اگه 2 نفر، همین نوه من ساغر که الان 19 سالشه، میره بیرون 2 دفعه تا حالا ساچمه خورده تو پاش، موهاش انقدر کندن، ساناز گرفته، انقدر جیغ و داد کرده که این کاری نمیکنه، بچه است، چیزی نداره، فقط وایساده داره نگاه میکنه که شما پیش تا فرش داشتیم آوردیمش خونه، وگرنه برش می‌داشتن میبردنش. وقتی هم ببرن دیگه دستمون به هیچ جا بند نیست، همه رو دارن میکشن. یعنی ما چه گناه کردیم که داریم 2 دفعه تو این دوران میگذرونیم؟ یک سری از بچگی انقلاب و جنگ، حالا اینجوری باید بچه هامون رو ببینیم دارن میکشن. میترسم اصلا برم یه نون بخرم، انقدر که بدجور، نمیدونی چجوری لباس پوشیدن با توپ و تانک تو خیابونم، زره پوشیدن. بعد ما دست خالی، اونا هم وقت از ما میترسن، ما باید از اونا بترسیم. ولی خلاصه خدا به دادمون برسه. تو رو خدا شما هوامون از اونجا داشته باشی، شاید انشالله خدا کمکمون کنه. فقط بدونین که وضع خیلی خرابه. نمیدونم دیگه میتونم یه بار دیگه هم باهاتون حرف بزنم، اصلا عمری ازمون میمونه. خیلی وضعیت خرابه، نمیدونین گرونی داره بیداد میکنه، اذیتشون هرچی بگم کم گفتم. حتی تو خونم حمله میکنن، دنبالمون میان تو خونه رو میگردن، دوباره دارن مثل قبلا میان تو ساختمون، ماهواره ها رو قطع کردن، پارازیت انداختن. هیچی نداریم، از هیچ طریقی نمیتونیم خبر پیدا کنیم، فقط باید اخبار خودشون رو گوش بدیم که همش دروغ. تو رو خدا برامون دعا کنین و کمک کنین. دوستتون دارم، انشالله که بتونیم همدیگه رو ببینیم. خداگان نگارتون، خدا نگهدارتون باشه.
Oh, and I can tell you that that was not the worst that I've listened to. She was actually pretty calm. I've listened to so many other audio clips of these calls, these desperate calls. And folks, there's one thing that there's commonality in these calls, and part of that commonality is they're asking and really asserting the obvious: unless somebody helps us from the outside, they will kill us. They will destroy us. So many people are without hope. Now, we obviously know that there is an amazing underground church movement in Iran, the fastest growing church, numerically speaking, in the world is inside Iran. Under 47 years of persecution, it has flourished, it has expanded, it has grown. The numbers that we don't even know, 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, some say, in Iran that are now born again believers. This is an opportunity, by the way, for those Christians to put themselves at risk, to go out and share the gospel. This is an opportunity that we should be praying for, that the Lord would use this time of great suffering for these people that are without hope. You heard her in her voice. Desperation. That they would realize that their hope is in Christ. That their hope is in Christ alone. But they're asking the question, where is the world? Where is the world? That's the question I'm asking. Where is our government? You know, again, very clearly I said to you on Tuesday, and I want to be very clear. I did not expect the United States of America to help the Iranian people. I did not expect, especially after what happened in June. What happened in June of 2025 when President Trump stopped the Israeli jets from going in and taking out Khamenei, the supreme leader. I did not, after that, expect any support, any help, because in my opinion, that was the beginning of the betrayal of the Iranian people. That was another lifeline that they gave to this regime. this evil, demonic, antichrist spirit regime. That there is no reforming it. There is no doing deals with it. There is no negotiating with it. But when I saw how actively the president was messaging on Truth Social, in the media, we're locked and loaded. If they kill protesters, we will make them pay. And the worst, to tell the people to go into the streets, take the places of power, the institutions, and help is on the way. That was January 13th. That was 9 days ago. Now, all of the speculation, the carrier groups in the area, everybody telling you, don't worry, they got a plan. Don't worry. They're putting things together. Some of the narrative, I had somebody posting on my show from Tuesday who was attacking us and was posting in a manner which was disrespectful, but saying, "Oh, you guys are all just brain dead. You don't know what you're talking about." And it was Israel that said, "Don't do it." Trump was going to attack Iran last week, but it was Israel said, "We're not ready yet. Wait." Because again, Israel controls, they claim, our policy. When no, the reality is it's the Arab Muslim nations that are now controlling U.S. foreign policy and decision making. And all those people that don't think that what's going on in Iran matters in the world, matters to a righteous God, are deeply mistaken. Let me play the clip of Reza Pahlavi. He was once again on Fox News. And here is the update that he is giving.
In the middle of what's happening, I think I can update you with the latest news that I had from Iran itself. I just got off the phone with a political prisoner that managed to somehow connect to the internet. And here's what the situation on the ground is. It's an ongoing war between the people and this regime. The regime has massacred them, and it is in total darkness that it is carrying out even more brutality by shooting people in hospitals under the direct order of Khamenei, not to let anyone who was even wounded alive. That's the extent of their brutality, and the numbers you quoted is correct. We anticipate at least 20,000 people dead, if not more, across the land. Now, one thing that the world and this audience needs to realize is that these brave Iranians are saying, we are fighting not just for our own liberation, but to free the world from this terrorist regime. Their commitment is to fight to the very end, and this is the momentum that we have right now. And what could change the odds in their favor is the much-needed neutralization of the regime's instruments of repression, which can only occur based on what the president stated a few days ago, that it will be consequential for the regime using the brutality against the people. And you should not believe a word the regime says, because
So you should not believe a word that the regime says. Not one word. That's exactly right. You don't believe a word that they stop the executions. You don't believe a word that they want to negotiate. You don't believe a word that they want diplomacy. You don't believe a word that comes out of the mouth of any of these Muslim Arab nations that we believe it's best to have diplomacy. You don't believe a word. Because in Islam, they can lie. It is permissible. In many cases, it is mandatory for their survival. If they believe that they are in a place where they are about to be defeated, they can lie to buy time, to regroup. They can lie to make any kind of deal called hudna, the lie of hudna. They can lie. Meanwhile, you have the regime, or I should say the United States, over in Davos. And you have this push. Next week, I'm going to be doing a show on how I further am going to expose how the Trump administration and their pastoral proxies, including the false teacher Paula White, is leading us into the one world religion through the guise of interfaith and multi-faith and the Abrahamic faith. We see this from the current Pope. We've seen it from the last Pope. We've seen it from the Vatican. Again, I covered this on Brandon House earlier this week on the Vatican, their statements regarding Muslims. They believe Muslims are people of salvation. They believe Muslims worship the same God. It was the previous Pope that signed the document on human fraternity and brotherhood that led to the building of the Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi. It is the same system that is leading us into this global beast system. The false prophet, the false harlot, the false spiritual dichotomy, unity, false peace. So let's go again. I want to show you this. Here is the charter. I want to encourage you guys, go to, here's Times of Israel. If any of you want to read the charter, this is the full charter of Trump's Board of Peace that was just signed in Davos. So you can go and you can read it for yourself. It is right there. And if you go and you look at the text of it, Charter of the Board of Peace, preamble, declaring that durable peace requires pragmatic judgment, common sense solutions, and the courage to depart from approaches and institutions that have too often failed. They're talking about the United Nations that has failed. They're talking about, again, anybody that is deemed as being too the word that I'm thinking of is when you're too principled, when you won't compromise because they want pragmatism. Recognizing that lasting peace takes root when people are empowered to take ownership and responsibility over their future. Because if we just give them a good future and a nice place to live and jobs, they won't want to kill us, right? They will not want to kill us if we do that. It goes on then from there, talk about partnership, burdens, commitments. Article 1 mission. The Board of Peace is an international organization that seeks to promote stability, restore dependable and lawful governance, and secure enduring peace in areas affected or threatened by conflict. The Board of Peace shall undertake such peace-building functions in accordance with international law and as may be approached in accordance with this charter. It goes on. Charter 2, membership. How you have membership. Membership in the Board of Peace is limited to states invited to participate by the chairman. Who is the chairman? Donald J. Trump. Member state responsibilities. Each member state shall support and assist with Board of Peace operations, consistent with respect to domestic legal authorities. Each member shall serve a term of no more than 3 years, subject to renewal by the chairman. Brandon mentioned the other day, chairman of the board. Sounds like this is, why am I blanking on the famous singer? Dean Martin, chairman of the board. Everybody's got to bring in $1 billion in cash funds to the Board of Peace within the first year. Termination of membership. That was, by the way, what was signed right there, 2025 in Al Sharm El Sheikh in Egypt. Withdrawal, governance. There's the governance. Annual budget, subsidiary entities shall convene voting members at least annually, one vote. And by the way, it's very clear. It doesn't have to be a nation. It could be other entities or other people representing their nation. Business leaders can represent. Bankers can represent. Member states may elect to be represented by an alternative high-ranking official at all meetings. The chairman may issue invitations to relevant regional economic integration organizations. Donald J. Trump shall serve as inaugural chairman of the board, and he shall separately serve as inaugural representative of the United States of America. The chairman shall have exclusive authority to create, modify, or dissolve subsidiary entities as necessary. Wow, sounds like he's got all the power. Subcommittees, executive board powers, expenses, accounts, it's all there. Legal status, all there. I encourage you to go read it. We fully believe, folks, we fully believe that this is a replacement to the United Nations. We fully believe that they are getting ready to move away from the United Nations, which Trump hates, and we all hate. We all hate the United Nations. But now they're going to this Board of Peace that is riddled with Muslim countries. Already, the Muslims control the United Nations through the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Now they're going to control this entity. Well, Trump is going to control with those he brings on board. And they have big plans for Gaza, and they have big plans for the world. But meanwhile, they stand idly by and say nothing about Iranians being massacred. They do nothing to stop the massacre of the one free people within the region that actually do not want Islam, that actually love America, that actually love Israel and the Jewish people. They do not want to follow Islam, Islamic governance, Sharia. They want a representative government that is more secular and based, that has a separation of what is, quote, religious and the state. They don't want theocratic rule, which is what America should be doing, by the way. We should be banning any implementation of theocratic rule here in America, including Sharia. Again, the information that I said, the Board of Peace, if you go to the Times of Israel, and you go to this story, which was January 18th, Times of Israel, you'll see the full text, Charter of Trump's Board of Peace. Maybe if somebody could put that link in the comments. Now, again, as I just said, I do not believe that Trump is going to be the Antichrist. No, I do not believe that. But I do believe that Trump, along with the push towards AI, along with J.D. Vance connection, and Dick, thank you for mentioning that again, the connection to Palantir and Peter Thiel, that's what's leading all of the global surveillance, the currency, moving to blockchain. And Gaza is sort of their baby. Gaza is their first level of this system of implementation of this smart cities, smart region, total control, total surveillance, their globalist utopia. Let me go to the clip of Jared Kushner presenting a slideshow at Davos. Let me play a little bit of this and tell me what you guys think. Watch this.
So we did a master plan. We brought in, I thank you, Kir Gabay, who's one of the most successful real estate developers and brilliant people I know. He's volunteered to do this, not for profit, really because of his heart. He wants to do this. And we've developed ways to redevelop Gaza. Gaza, as President Trump's been saying, has amazing potential. And this is for the people of Gaza. We've developed it into zones. In the beginning, we were toying with the idea of saying, let's build a free zone, and then we have a Hamas zone. And then we said, you know what, let's just plan for catastrophic success. Hamas signed a deal to demilitarize. That is what we are going to enforce. People ask us what our plan B is. We do not have a plan B. We have a plan. We signed an agreement. We are all committed to making that agreement work. There's a master plan. We'll be doing it in phasing. In the Middle East, they build cities like this in 2-3 million people. They build this in 3 years. And so stuff like this is very doable if we make it happen. Rafah will start with. This will show a lot of workforce housing. We think this could be done in 2-3 years. We've already started removing the rubble and doing some of the demolition.
That's in the southern part of Gaza.
And then New Gaza.
Look at that.
It could be a hope. It could be a destination, have a lot of industry, and really be a place that the people there can thrive, have great employment. Once this starts going, we think there should be 100% full employment and opportunity for everybody there. And we have a lot of data on what can be, but we think that this really gives the Gazan people an opportunity to live their aspirations. But it all starts with security, and it all starts with governance.
Security
Final
and
note
governance.
I'll just say on the Board of Peace, which is that all the lessons we're doing is we're basically studying the best practices from all over the world, and we're watching who does education the best, who does healthcare delivery the best. All of these things it's not secret IP. All this is IP that the Board of Peace is going to make public, and we want to encourage all the countries to be able to follow these best practices. A lot of the things that President Trump is doing in America, if they're working, we should all be copying them. If we find what's working in other countries, we should be copying them too. And so what the Board of Peace will have the ability to do if we're successful with Gaza is really show how do you do peace implementation, which is something that when we got this deal done, we didn't really find too much expertise or know-how on how to do it. So as we're creating this system, hopefully it's something that we can just document these learnings and make them available to all else who want to use them in the future. So demilitarization, this is something we're starting now that we have a new government in Gaza. This government will be working with Hamas on the demilitarization to really take the principles that were agreed to in the document to the next phase. And hopefully that will be successful. Without that, we can't rebuild. So if Hamas does not demilitarize, that will be what holds back Gaza and the people of Gaza from achieving their aspiration, and that's very important. So the next 100 days, we're going to continue to just be heads down and focused on making sure this is implemented. We continue to be focused on humanitarian aid, humanitarian shelter, but then creating the conditions to move forward. So thank you. Final point I'll just make is this is really only possible because of the work of so many people and President Trump's great leadership. But a lot of you have been asking, how can we help? So the countries have all been incredibly generous. We'll be doing the first conference where we'll announce a lot of the contributions that will be made in a couple weeks in Washington. From the private sector, there'll be amazing investment opportunities. I know it's a little risky to be investing in a place like this, but we need you to come, take faith, invest in the people, try to be a part of it. And then finally, I'll just talk to people on the media and on the social media, which is, this deal only happened because we worked with Israel, we worked with Turkey, we worked with Qatar, we worked with Saudi, we worked with Egypt. I mean, everyone worked together. We worked with UAE. We all worked together to make this happen. I see a lot of people trying to escalate, criticizing Israel or Israelis criticizing Turkey or Qatar. Just calm down for 30 days. I think that the war is over. Let's do our best to try working together. Our goal here is peace between Israel.
The war is over. You guys think the war is over? You guys think that the war is over? You guys think that the Muslims are going to stop fighting? You think that Hamas is going to demilitarize? By the way, I put the link in the comments there. Apparently, it did not go through here. Let me put it in Rumble as well. I'm going to put the links there for you guys. I put it both in the stream and in Rumble to the text of the charter, if you guys want to go read it for yourself. Calm down. Just calm down. Don't criticize. Israel's saying we don't trust Turkey. Turkey is massively arming itself through what's going on in Syria. Now with ISIS fighters being released. And you saw the vision. 100% employment. Beautiful Mediterranean, right on the coast. We're going to build a beautiful city. It'll be big and beautiful. Meanwhile, people around the world, Christians in Nigeria and Sudan, are being massacred. The Christians and the Kurds, predominantly in Syria, are being massacred and hunted down. And the people in Iran are being massacred by their own regime, brutalized, starved, total martial law, total blackout, no rights. And President Trump and then this administration said, help is on the way. So they sit there and sign this spiritual, political peace agreement, the Abraham Accords, Abraham Accord 2.0, now the peace deal. Folks, I got to tell you, as a Bible student, as a prophecy student, I got to tell you, the alarms are going off in my head. The alarms are blaring that we are absolutely, and I didn't think that I would see part of this happening under a, quote, MAGA Trump, America First administration. The pride, the arrogance, the hubris. How can we be sitting here talking about world peace, peace in the Middle East, when the one country that wants peace, the one country that wants freedom, the one group of people that actually are saying, we don't trust the Muslims, we don't trust Islam, we're done with Islam, we want to be allies of America, we want to be allies of Israel, we want to live in a representative constitution like America that we're supposed to have. They want Reza Pahlavi back. They're chanting his name. And yet, the leaders of these Muslim countries, Arab Muslim countries, look at Pakistan. Pakistan's defense minister, Khawaja Mohammad Asif, we will stand firmly with Iran in all conditions. He's talking about the Iranian government. So they're going to stand behind the Iranian regime massacring its own people. Yeah, of course they are, because they're an Islamic theocracy. And as I've said, they cannot stand the chance of having an Iran that is free, because the Iran that is free of Islam. It would upend the Middle East. Here is Erdogan in Turkey. I am confident my Iranian brothers and sisters will overcome the treacherous Israeli-backed sedition. So now the movement of the people in Iran, apparently, again, like Candace Owens and her lunatic conspiracy theories, are now Israeli-backed. It's not what the Iranian people want. It's just all Israel. It's all Mossad. Even though thousands, tens of thousands have died. Here is another statement. Look at this. From Farshid, this guy on Facebook. One Iranian citizen who witnessed violence during demonstrations said protesters are, quote, still waiting on United States Special Forces to act in Iran. They can come to help us. We can finish the job on the ground, the Iranian who requested anonymity for the fear of retribution said. Go forward. Help is coming, Trump said. The people went forward. They were killed. No help came. One user wrote on X. Iranian patriots have now waited more than 160 hours for Trump's promise that, quote, help is on its way, wrote another. So, folks, this isn't just me saying it. This isn't just me frustrated, or other Iranians frustrated, or other former Muslims from Iran frustrated. These are the people inside Iran saying, we went, Mr. President, because you said very clearly help is on the way. You're not just anybody. You are the leader of the greatest, most powerful nation on the planet. You are the leader of the free world. But every single time you say, well, we got to wait and see. Well, they promised they wouldn't kill 806 executions. Well, you know, they want to talk. Every single time the people of Iran are hanging on your words. It matters to them. Meanwhile, the body bags are adding up. A teen hid in a body bag in order to survive. By the way, if you guys want to follow Iran International, I encourage you to go to Iran International, look at their latest, some of what they're saying. And it's just, it's hard to know, right? It's hard to know what is being shared. Here's the link. U.S. says may deploy more defense systems as carrier strike group nears Middle East. Trump says massive fleet heading towards Iran. Family in Fulad, that's Fulad Shahar. Fulad Shahar forced to hide child's body from the officials. Exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi urges Trump to attack Iran. But yet we wait. You can go down. There are so many things that I said on Tuesday that we can do. Freeze their assets. And by the way, for the last month and a half since this started, I have been saying consistently, the first thing to do is declare that this regime is illegitimate. If the president came out and said this regime is illegitimate, even if he doesn't recognize yet Reza Pahlavi, and of course we're very concerned that they're going to, back MEK. This is a live feed, by the way, that is coming from. See if I can make this bigger. Nope. How did I make this go bigger? Yeah, there we go. This is the live feed that is coming from Iran International. There, I'll keep that up on the side while I'm talking and wrapping up. The very first thing, come out and say, there's no negotiation. There's no talking because this regime is illegitimate. The moment you start massacring your own people, you're illegitimate. Great question on the chat by Set to Derail. Is the Lord weighing President Trump in the balances? Yes. And not only do I believe the Lord is weighing President Trump, I believe the Lord is weighing America. Because as our leader, when he doesn't allow his yes, I said this on Tuesday, when he doesn't allow his yes to be yes, as our leader, then I believe that can garner judgment. The European Parliament, as you see there on the screen, they came out and had a statement in support, but yet the European Union has not. There's other countries that could help, but the Brits aren't going to help. The French are not going to help. European nations are not going to help. Germans are not going to help. Because they're too beholden. They're too afraid of their demonic Muslim population within the country. Here you see Zelensky on the World Economic Forum talking about Iran, that nobody's helping Iran. Even the Ukrainians are saying that. And yet we sit here almost 10 days later, day by day, the Iranians lose hope. Now, praise God that for Christians, our hope is not in man. Our hope is not in any one leader. Our hope is in the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, Jesus Christ. Yeshua, our salvation. And the hopes of millions of Iranians are in Yeshua. They know, the believers know. There should be international pressure right now for the regime to remove the blackout on the internet, on communications. If you have nothing to hide, remove that. But you know that they have everything to hide because they have committed a genocide against their own people. And again, if anybody's naive in there to think that they're going to stop acting the way they do, not just in Iran, but all these Muslim nations. The fact that our government is so deceived to trust Islam and to trust these Muslim leaders, that shows you their foolishness. That shows you their lack of wisdom. But that's not a surprise when the president is led by a heretic and a false teacher and a false prophet like Paula White and the so-called faith office. That is not a surprise when the president has people like, quote, Pastor Mark Burns today in DC leading the Interfaith Coalition. Spiritual diplomats, where they're promoting interfaith with the Muslims and the Catholics and the Native Indians and the Jews coming together in this notion that we all have unity and we all worship one God. This is the finals day deception. This is end times deception, folks. This is off the charts deception. The Lord is coming soon. And we better gird up, buckle up, prepare ourselves for this level of deception. If our hope is in Donald Trump, you have your hope in the wrong place. If our hope is in MAGA, you have your hope in the wrong place. If our hope is in any man, you have your hope in the wrong place. And the Iranian people are finding that out, unfortunately, the hard way. They have spoken. They want Reza Pahlavi to return. They want to right the wrongs of 47 years ago. They want a chance at what you and I enjoy. And yet, we have churches being attacked in America. Now, thank God the DOJ arrested a couple of those thugs that went into the church in Minnesota. Where's Don Lemon? I want to see the perp walk and Don Lemon or Lemon, the so-called gay Christian. So here we are. And again, I will try to bring updates for you. Anything over the weekend that breaks or early next week. Certainly, if there is an attack, if Trump actually follows through, if Israel follows through, or not follows through, they haven't promised anything yet, but if they were to act, but and again, I said this on Tuesday, my concern is that they're buying time. Part of the reason if they're not attacking is because they're buying time in order to install their own puppet. A group like MEK, Marxist Muslims, Marxist Islamists who would go in there rather than Reza Pahlavi when the people are yelling, Javid Shah, long live the Shah. When the people are yelling, Pahlavi will return. This is the final battle. Pahlavi will return. Look at that. There's forces breaking into people's houses. Armored vehicles, militias. Can you imagine living that way? Can you imagine? These evil men who hate humanity. They hate freedom. They're like Nazis. There you go. Right there on the screen, folks. They're like Nazis. They're no different than the Nazis. Well, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I want to tell you that my heart remains grieved. My heart remains heavy. I'm saddened by the direction of our nation. I'm saddened by where that we are not any longer a nation of moral conviction. And so I pray for our leaders, but look at their counsel. Look at their counsel. If our goal is money, if our goal is prosperity, we know the Bible tells us that in the last days we'll have great persecution, great suffering. So we better prepare ourselves for that, both here in America and around the world. And so thank you for being with us tonight. Again, I will not be on Facebook this Sunday because of the weather situation here. We're going to be canceling our church service this Sunday because we're expecting snow, freezing weather, unsafe conditions. But Lord willing, Tuesday, I will bring our show live with you at noon Eastern time while we're on our vacation. But you guys be safe out there this weekend. I'll be praying for you, be praying for all of you, especially in the freezing southeast here. Be safe driving. And please pray for wisdom. Pray for great discernment in this hour. We need it. We need it not to be deceived. We need it not to be fooled. We need it not to put hope in man, but keep our hope in the Lord. Love all of you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for your support of this ministry. Thank you for praying for us as the doors open. March, I'll be back in Dallas. March, I'll be in Pennsylvania. April, we'll be back in Texas. May, we're looking at being back in Minnesota. June, we'll be back in North Idaho. Right now, tonight, July, we just set up some events that we're looking at in Southeast Idaho, just east of Boise, Idaho. We're working still on with the legislature. I just got a text today again with the Idaho legislature that I visited last week. We're working on some things with them. Lord willing, we'll have some good updates for you guys. So God bless you guys. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for being with us. And I'll try to post the link to Jamie Glazov's show when I'm on with them in just a few minutes. Going to be recording with them here in just about 12 minutes. So God bless you guys. Thank you for being with us tonight. Pastor Sharam Hadian, have a great weekend. And please pray. Pray for God's will to be done. Pray for righteousness. Pray that God would hear the cries of his people around the world, including in Iran. And selfishly, I pray for my birth country that it would be freed from this bondage in Jesus' name. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.